A few years ago, I realised that I had to decide between privacy and having my face and life plastered all over the internet. And yes, you do have to decide. I'm now well past the point where I can scrub my presence off the internet. I'm well aware that future employers will be able to see the stuff I've made, and that it might not always be the most professional or suitable content. But I decided to stop living in fear of what might happen in the future and to instead focus on what's working right now. I've spent my life so caught up preparing for what might happen that it's been to the detriment of actually living my life right now. So I decided to hop out of the closet of privacy and to bare my true self to the world. It's not like I've always hidden my face, or I've now drastically changed the style so that I'm in every video, but if given the choice, I began to favour the option of showing myself, to share my views and opinions about stuff, but just to be smart about it. No filming dead bodies in Japan or anything like that. To be a face of YouTube, but a respectable one, albeit with a few weird quirks. Remaining hidden on a social platform is a massive handicap. Going to Cologne in 2016 and seeing how many people recognised the YouTubers who had had the face on show in every video really hammered this home. Your viewing habits aren't just determined by the video's content, but also the people making it. Their lives and personalities are almost like an ongoing story that you, as the viewer, can experience, developing as it goes. I think this decision applies to all of us. We're living in a new and terrifying era where everything is recorded, documented and remembered. Some of us continue to remain faceless online. A few of my friends are in this category, but I feel their struggle is only going to get harder. You can choose the best passwords, the most obscure usernames, the finest VPNs. But what good is that if the websites you visit are hacked? Or you have a friend who documents everything with a video camera? I feel absolute privacy is lost. And even if you do remain hidden, doesn't that make you seem more suspicious than having an online presence that is so boring and normal that people can't be bothered to follow you? I think privacy is now about hiding in plain sight, about being selective in what you share with the world. And now to go against everything I've just said by pointing out my character flaws. As a YouTuber, my online personality inevitably reflects a great deal about my real life persona. I cover topics I'm passionate about, and give opinions in line with what I actually think. Because why wouldn't I? I didn't start YouTube to share opinions or to cover topics that didn't interest me. Unless your channel is based around parody or a fictional character, I think it does end up saying a lot about who you really are. I guess the real test is if people who meet me in real life think I'm the way they imagined me to be. This seems like the perfect opportunity to talk about Clicks Philip. As a more vloggy channel, I talk about how I'm feeling at the time, and increasingly, I find myself starting on a new video only to realise it contradicts one I made a few years ago. I absolutely hate that because it makes me feel petty or indecisive, but then I realise that it's a vlog channel. It's not meant to be fact, and if my opinions change, then maybe that shows I've developed as a person. I do occasionally delete old videos, but normally because they're cringy and not because they're outdated, content-wise. As someone who likes to document stuff, I see the value in preserving the obsolete. Plus, I'm a really empathic person. I try to see stuff from other people's points of view. In life, that means I typically get shoved about and shat on by strong personalities, even if they're wrong. It also means that if I do have a strong opinion about something, I come across as uncharacteristically passionate and aggressive about it, which doesn't always work in my favour either. I'm pretty sure that if two people had a fight, I'd take the side of whoever spoke to me first. It can make me seem spineless and indecisive because most of the time I don't have an opinion until I'm asked to form one. So I always feel that when I'm making a video, the viewpoint I'm arguing for is determined by nothing more than a coin toss. Maybe that's the price I must pay to remain good at analysing stuff. I don't know. But what I do know is that as my channels get larger, I get shyer. I was happy posting rubbish to this one when I only had a few thousand subscribers. At that size, the comment section feels like a community. I know the names, and I feel that the only people who stumble across the videos are the ones who want to see it. But now, with over 100,000, I'm big enough to suck in unsuspecting victims, and it does make it harder for me to post a vlog kind of video, which this channel used to be. But I mean, how do you vlog? I went on a walk yesterday and decided to try and do one. I took this picture of me, and then spent the rest of it in self-loathing, which resulted in this video that you're watching right now. There's no point in talking about what I do on my own because that stuff normally ends up being in a video of some kind anyway. But then I can't really vlog about my time I spend with my girlfriend or friends either. What, you may ask? You've got friends? Yeah, well, like I said, not everybody wants to be internet famous, and I try my best to respect their privacy. I may give the impression of being a lonely person since most of my pictures and videos seem to be of scenery rather than people. But I am probably with other people and I'm just respecting their privacy. So don't worry about me. And lastly, despite sounding like an introverted, shy person, I really do love meeting and talking to people, and being popular on YouTube for the things I like has the knock-on benefit of ensuring that the people who recognise me in real life will have enough in common with me to have a great conversation. People who I would otherwise have just walked past, never knowing that we had things in common. Last week when I was exploring the Netherlands, not alone I might add, I was recognised. Nice meeting you, but I'll respect your privacy by not mentioning your name. Meeting people who recognise me isn't a regular occurrence. Seems to happen like once a holiday, and yet strangely it's never happened in my hometown, apart from in the local game store. And I think it's just as scary and unexpected for me as it is for the people who meet me. But if you do, don't be shy. Just say Clix Philip rather loudly and we'll have a nice little chat. Although I feel big-headed asking if you want to take a picture, I assume a lot of people are too polite or shy to ask. Plus, at least you can delete it if you don't want it, rather than to not have one when with hindsight you wish you had. So, onto the future. I really want to stress that this is only a plan that is subject to change. I'm terrible at following through with what I say, but this is the right channel to at least talk about what I want to do. It's my plan to make series on 2Clix Philips that I'm making more than just one video a week there, and I like the idea of covering the more trivial and random stuff on this channel, just like I used to. I have to fight against the urge to remain hidden and really need to stop turning little video ideas into day-long projects like this one has become. Once again, not a promise, but I do some weird cool stuff in my day that may or may not make it to future projects of mine, so as followers of Clix Philip, it only seems fair that you guys hear about it first. Oh, and check out the Cubicle Brothers, but don't check it out too much because I want it to remain small enough that I feel comfortable posting there.